have left, we want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Marked. Episode 6, I think. I'm your host, Paul fucking Talbot, and I want to pull on your coattails about something. But first... I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I never watch them. I mean, maybe it's because I grew up on radio before the days of the internet and streaming. I can remember lying in bed under the covers listening to the Friday Night Rock Show in the UK on this crappy little Kiss radio that I had. I mean, call me old school, but I think that's why I've always preferred podcasts in that old radio format. Just audio, no cameras, no performance. I mean, for me, a podcast is a great conversation, right? It's one between me and you, the listener, and between me and my guests. And if that conversation makes you think slightly differently about something or opens your ears to something you didn't even know existed or was a thing, then that's a win. And lately, there's been an explosion of tattoo-related content. Now, most of it, not all, but most of it focuses on the same few artists, the ones with big followers or viral reach. And that's fine if you're chasing clicks and all that, but it means one set of opinions get heard louder than the rest. And that's always been a problem in this industry. Only hearing one side isolates us and pushes artists to fit in with a narrative that doesn't always reflect their reality. And that's why Marked isn't about that. I don't do this for profit or reach, so I don't have any of those concerns. I do it because it's my hobby and I love talking with tattooists from all over the world and from all walks of life. It doesn't matter to me if you've been tattooing for 5 minutes or 5 decades. If you've got something interesting or positive to say about this craft, I want to hear it. I guess it's because I've always seen tattooing as a community, and if we're going to tackle the challenges that we face today, then we need everybody's voice, don't we? We've got to stop dividing ourselves by age, culture, style, machines, or even methods. However you make tattoos, it's fine with me. So, welcome to Marked, if this is your first time, and if it's not your first time, welcome back. And given what I've just said to you, here's my chat with my friend Iuri from Sao Paulo, Brazil. And we're separated by geography, language, culture, and age, and yet we agree on so many things about this world that we call tattooing. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you next time. You're two artists based in Sao Paulo, Brazil, but with a very interesting backstory, which is where I want to start this conversation, because you studied biology.
Yes, exactly.
Well, okay, so how do you go from studying biology to becoming a tattooist?
It's actually quite a fun story. When I was younger, I decided to you need to do some college and to study. So I went for biology, something that I love and I had always loved and still love. But during the university, some things started to appear, and I wasn't actually falling that much in love by what I was doing. A friend of mine decided he wanted to get a tattoo, and I was like, let me go with you to the shop. And I fell in love immediately once I stepped inside the shop. And I never had entered the tattoo shop before. No one in my family had tattoos back then. So it was this is a completely new thing for me. I fell in love and I started thinking about that all the time. I couldn't think about studying anymore. I couldn't think about the job that I used to have anymore. So I decided to start. I bought these kits, a machine from China and some few needles, and start studying it in fake skin, in myself, in my ex-girlfriend, and
take it from there.
Pretty much, yeah.
How's the culture with tattooing in Brazil? Because I've got to be honest, I don't know much about South America.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, in some parts of the world, it's connected with, people think of it as being connected with gangs and crime and all that sort of stuff. Older people tend to look down on tattooing. Is that true in Brazil, or are people pretty chill about tattoos? Because I get the impression Brazilian people are pretty chill generally.
Yeah, generally we are very chill. Back then, it used to be more thing with it, but nowadays it's way more chill. The tattoo culture here is actually quite big. Actually, everyone knows someone who does have a tattoo or something. And as a tropical country, people tend to be more with light clothing. So show more your body, so you actually get more tattoos.
Yeah.
By all the places I've ever been, I feel that Brazil is still one of the places that people get tattooed the most.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. But as we were saying, like, I think that even though we have like this big culture and tattooing is so much deep into our culture, people don't get good tattoos. Like, they are not looking to get like big things or like with quality. They are just looking to get things done.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have a little bit of that here. I think what happens here tends to be that when people get their first tattoo, they just go to their local tattoo shop. You know, whatever's the closest, and you know they found something maybe on Pinterest or Google or something like that. They want to get that tattoo, and then if they get the bug for it, like we do when we become tattooists, you know that thing that you were talking about. You see it, and you all of a sudden it's your entire world. And so there are some clients that then they fall in love with the art form, and then they start seeking out, you know, who are the guys that do the next kind of tattoos. And I think where it seems to be happening, certainly in England, where I think there's going to be kind of like a split between, you know, off the high street, not really commercial studios that make really, really, really cool work, just the artists kind of working in those places. And then the more kind of like the McDonald's of tattooing is that's kind of in the town centres, but the real tattooing is happening, you know, off the high street, further away. I think so.
That's exactly how things are here. At least in my city, which is São Paulo in Brazil, this is exactly how things are. Like, the big studios in the streets, they are, as I said, like some sort of McDonald's fast food thing. I learned tattoo in one of these, and now, like myself, I'm working. My studio is like a small room, an apartment in a commercial building. So that's it. Like, I'm alone. No one gets me. No one bothering me. No one gonna come like in the door and stuff, you know. And that's exactly how things are here.
My studio's in a tiny little English village from the 17th century where they used to make nails and stuff like that. So, and I've been working all day today, and regularly you are more likely on a Sunday afternoon to see a horse being ridden down the main street in the village I work in than you will to see a car. That you're much more likely to see a tractor or some farm machinery. You know,
I must say that this feels like appealing. I mean, I want to visit that.
Yeah, well, you should, man. It's a lovely setting, and it's kind of quaint and English. You know, whenever I have American guests come over and American clients, they're always blown away with how English it looks, because it's got those black and white buildings, you know, the Tudor buildings and all that sort of stuff. It's a little bit like an Italian town as well, in that it's got as many churches as houses. You know, you know, there's a little bit of that as well. There's a lot of religion everywhere around me. So I mean, but I think that's probably where tattooing is going. I also think that's probably where tattoo conventions are going, that there'll be the really big super commercial conventions will be all about the industry, but I actually think the smaller conventions are going to be more about the artistry. I'm starting to see a lot more education events around the world and artist retreats and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think we're slowly seeing a division in the commerce and the artistry. I think there's going to be,
for sure. No, for sure. I always said I had like kind of three types of clients, and I feel that that's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Even the division of the artist, but we also have a division of the client. So like, we have the client that just wants to get a tattoo, which is like the fastest, the cheapest, doesn't care about quality. You have the client that wants like your technique, which you mean like if you're some sort of a specialist, you will see a lot of that. Like, this is my technique. I do my work, but I have the technique to do what you want. So I'm going to do it, that's fine. And you have the client that wants what you do, like your art. And of course, this is the client that we all like to get.
I mean, that's the apex, isn't it? Where you get to the client that wants that,
Yeah, and exactly this is where I feel that the industry is dividing itself. Like, people who are just going to be commercial clients who just want to get the things done faster than the cheapest. And we have the things that gonna look about art.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to call them the lower down clients. Maybe the clients that are more interested, they just want to get something. They want the thing that they want. Like, for me, those guys...
better client than the others. They're clients, and they all deserve to be treated with all respect that we have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I
think those clients... there's always a percentage of those clients that come in, they want to get an infinity symbol, but then 2 years later, they're halfway through a full sleeve, and I've found with a lot of those small clients, or not small clients, the clients that come in for the small, simple tattoos, it tends to be that they're testing the water, and they're a lot of them, they're looking for places where they feel comfortable, and I think that's a big part of it. But one of the things...
Even if they don't come, they will always indicate you for someone, for a friend, for a cousin, for whatever. I went to this guy, he's really good, I like this studio, I like the vibe. Go there, he will do a great job. And they're like,
there you go.
Yeah,
however they end up in the chair, as long as they end up in the chair, I don't care. It's all good with me.
If they don't get in the chair itself, they can talk about you, and that's the best thing. Yeah.
Do you think that studying biology, because I went and took a deep dive into your Instagram and looked at it, and there's a lot of figurative studies in what you do, and I thought that kind of makes sense to me when you go, I studied biology, and I'm like, okay, so I see a lot of human figures. Also, I wonder if from looking at very academic books of diagrams and stuff is why some of the kind of diagrammatic stuff finds its way into your work. Do you think that's happening because of that, or just that's just the way the artwork has evolved?
I feel that's just the way my artwork has evolved. But I feel that both actually come from the same thing. I went to study biology because, of course, I love biology, but because most of all, I love the beauty of nature. And I love to see the natural beauty. So when I started studying art, I could see the same beauty, the same natural beauty, but being the study as the beauty itself, as art, and not as a science, as it was in biology. Yeah. So I feel that both of the reasons why I fell in love by my art style, or in tattooing and biology, they are rooted in the same vision, which is the love for the nature, the beauty.
Yeah. That's really cool. I mean, for me, I think if that question was directed at me, I would tell you that because of playing music for a living for a number of years, I played punk rock, and so I love existing inside the chaos. I like that being on stage with that kind of incredibly loud noises. And then when you look at my artwork, I'm definitely drawn to more chaotic things. Abstraction. Abstract art is something that I really love. And I don't tend to follow all of the kind of rules in air quotes of where you're supposed to put things on the body. I tend to go, no, I'm going to feel what I feel. Because I understand that people like to fit and they like to flow stuff onto the body and stuff. But for me, it's really the opposite of that. Let's not fit it, deliberately not fit it.
How can we make this weird? Or
how can I make this look a little bit unusual but also suit the client really well?
Okay.
But I know that those
for me is how can I make this more classic? The classic study of beauty, or not the beauty, but the classic study of art, like Michelangelo, Da Vinci, those Raphael,
Da Vinci's my guy.
Well, I feel like every artist has Da Vinci as one of his guys. Da Vinci's amazing. Come on, Da Vinci's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I visited the Vatican a couple of years ago, and they'd got an unfinished Da Vinci hanging in there when I was there. And that was, that's looking at the working out of the greatest painter that ever lived. Seeing the pencil marks for me was something, it was actually quite emotional seeing it, standing there, because the painting's only partly done, and you can see, his gestural marks on the canvas of where the rest of the figure's going to sit and everything, which I thought was, just the most incredible thing. And I think, for me, Michelangelo was a sculptor. At the risk of being controversial, I'm not a big fan of his painting. I think his sculpting was undeniable.
It was amazing, right?
Yeah, amazing. But I always think that, if I'd got to look at it, if I was stood talking to Michelangelo, I would be like, look, you need to look at Caravaggio a little bit more, because I think you need some more shadows in your work.
Yeah, to learn.
Not that I'm big-headed or arrogant and believe that I could give Michelangelo advice on art. Can you imagine? And I'm just stood there with my tattoo machine going, yeah, I think you need some more black in that Sistine Chapel, man.
That's more black in that shit, man.
Yeah, he's like, there's no black in it. What's going on? Can you imagine?
Well, but also they were paving the way. So
Of course, yeah.
yeah,
Those, you have to pay respect to all those people that come before you, the guys that, are mixing their own paint. And then, I always equate that to the early days of tattooing, where most of the stuff that we take for granted now, somebody had to figure that stuff out well before we got here. Like there's not many people that are working now that have had to mix their own ink, make their own needles, or tune and make their own tattoo machines. We're incredibly fortunate. You can go to almost like an online superstore, everything that you need. It doesn't ask you for very much effort, and you can just get on with your art. But you kind of had to be an electrician and an engineer and a scientist before you could even get started with tattooing before. You had to have some kind of understanding,
Yeah, I mean, you said you tattooed for like 20 years. I'm 9 right now. Yeah. And I got the like coil machines and needles and everything, but I didn't got like the welding needles and this type of thing. And
honestly,
when I talk with people with like a lot of ages of tattooing, I have one of my best friends. He does have like 35 years old of tattooing. Yeah. It's like his career is older than I am.
Yeah,
and man. He always said like the first 5 years was just to learn. Like I couldn't not consider myself a tattoo artist if I had like 5 years, because I didn't even knew how to properly hold a tattoo machine. And nowadays, like you just buy your pen machine and now
away you go.
You're a tattoo artist. Like with fully booked agenda for 2013.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting development. I'm not sure it's not all bad, but it's not all good either. It's different, and it's gonna
different.
There's gonna be different challenges. Like my daughter is 25 and my son's 30, and we talk about it a lot. They both tattoo, and I'm sort of saying to them, it's not going to be any more or less challenging for you guys than it was for me. It's just going to be different challenges. You won't have
different challenges.
Yeah, you won't have to do the similar things to me. I mean, I was very lucky that the internet or social media was really in its infancy for tattooing, so that was really easy for me. I also worked in marketing for 10 years. So the idea, selling a product is not particularly difficult to me. It's pretty straightforward. So building websites and social media stuff is it's kind of almost gut feeling now for me. I've done it for so long that it just feels very natural. Even though whenever I talk to people about it, they always go, "No, that's not a natural way to think about things."
Yeah.
But
because I will say, like, how do you think about how the industry is right now? Because I feel marketing is important. Myself, after like being a tattoo artist and everything, I decided to go back and study. So I did a long distance degree in marketing.
Yeah.
Like I never actually worked professionally with that. Yep. Besides in my own things as a tattoo artist. But you, as you said, like, how do you feel about how the market is right now?
Well, because you studied marketing, you'll understand what I'm saying. So I can use some more industry stuff. Apologies to our listeners. I will attempt to keep it as layman as I can. But at the moment, for me, if you look at tattooing from a marketing point of view, everybody's selling the wrong product. So nobody's selling the tattoos anymore. Everybody's selling themselves as internet celebrities.
You're selling like the experience you get as a tattoo.
Yeah, or even
I think that this is
or even they're spending more time talking about their lifestyle and their the car that they drive or the holidays that they have than the work that they're doing. And that is fine if you are attempting to become an internet celebrity and sell internet celebrity products off the back of it. But if you're an artist, if you look at anybody outside of tattooing who's in art, painting and drawing, they're not dancing like monkeys, like juggling tattoo machines to make them or dyeing their apprentice blue just for a funny clip on the internet. And the problem with that stuff is it's transitory. It's not permanent, and people look at it. It's viral for 30 seconds and then everyone forgets it. And I think if people played what we call the longer game and spent more time marketing their art and their artworks, then it will take you longer to blow up, if you like, but it will sustain a much better career. So I always advise people, look, you do you, tell people who you are, what it is that you do and why they should be interested in it. And that beyond that, it's like, I don't think, when I think about musicians who are, a lot of my heroes are musicians, right? Well, when I'm listening to a Led Zeppelin album, I don't care what Jimmy Page's hair looked like or what shoes he was wearing, right?
Yes.
Or the guitar that he was playing. I'm just
You just care
enjoying the
about
art.
the music is good.
The
That's
art.
it. I want to listen
Yeah,
to it.
there
Yes.
you go.
The
So
art.
I think from an overview of marketing, I think everybody's just we're getting lost in the idea of becoming internet celebrities, which might be what some people want to do. But I think there's.
But I feel it's mainly because it actually happened. If
Yeah.
we look at how the market was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago,
Yeah.
tattoo artists, we were celebrities.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how it was in the UK, but at least in Brazil, like we were celebrities.
Yeah.
There were people like going in the streets and asking us for autographs, like, hey,
Oh, yeah.
this is a tattoo artist. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
And we had the, oh my God, they are so famous and everything. So people want that. People
Yeah.
want to be famous. They don't want to. Most of the artists that I see getting into tattooing right now, it's because they want to be famous. It's not because they like the art form of it.
Yeah. And the conversation I would have with those artists is, if you want to be famous and you don't really care about the artwork, then there's a lot easier ways to become famous than trying to do it through the medium of art, right? It's like if I wanted to be viral and blow up on the internet, making artwork and doing tattoos is not the way to do it. There's much quicker ways of doing that. And I think that what people have to understand is, if you want to be, if you're in the game to be famous, then you don't need to be a tattooist, because it's almost secondary. And if you become a famous tattooist, eventually, if you don't love the artwork, you know yourself, I get excited even after 20 years of tattooing. I still get excited to go to the studio every single day to do a new piece, because I'm excited to do it.
We are in love, the same. We are in love with what we're doing.
Right.
We want to. I'm in love, and I'm excited every day to go to the studio to make a new piece. And because we love what we do, we love art.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
always say to my clients, like, if I get window lottery right now, $1 million in your account, what are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna put my jacket and I'm going to the shop to get the new client, the client from today.
There you
and
go.
the same next day and everything, and then just goes, because we love what we do. And if you're doing that for fame or just for money, you're gonna leave. For fame and for money.
Yeah, and also that the art will get in the way of the fame and the money, because the fame and money is a lifestyle, right? So the tattooing, like any art form, demands 99% of your attention at all times. And eventually, if you don't love doing it, I was talking to somebody about this today. I said, like, the reason I love this job is because I would and have and will do it for free. I just love doing it, right? I learned
100%.
to tattoo with, like, just tattooing my friends. And God bless them, even before they knew if I could even do the tattoos, they were like, okay, well, this could be terrible. You better fix it when you get good, But I still feel that excited every day I go and do a tattoo. I'm in the studio an hour early making stencils and getting ready and making my choices on inks and colours and what I'm going to do. It's exactly the same as it was 20 years ago. It's just the only difference is I'm a bit better at tattooing now. I'm not scared.
I know things better right now. I don't know. I do know the difference between a 3 and a 5.
Right. I mean, just those early steps. Now I'm very fortunate that I've got a cupboard full of ink, a cupboard full of tattoo machines, a cupboard full of needles. I've got lots and lots of choices. I've filled my toolbox with techniques, so I can use whatever will give me that texture that I'm looking for. And so now I can just make artistic choices. But I don't know, if I was only interested in being famous, whether any of that would matter after a little while. I just want to be on holiday in Dubai, drinking martinis and taking photos for my Instagram. And I just think the two things, they don't work together, right? Like,
because when you're looking just to be famous, I just said, like, once you get some sort of fame, or you find an easier path to fame, you will just give up on tattooing, because tattooing is hard.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, and when you do a shitty work, which everyone have done, like, you get that home feeling the worst people on earth, because you just mark the skin of someone forever with something that you don't like.
Yeah, I know.
Even if the client enjoyed the tattoo, like, if you don't like the tattoo, it's like, shit, I ruined your life. I want to give up on tattooing. And even though you show up next day to try to do your best.
Try and do it better. Yeah.
because
For sure.
because you are in love with the art, and if you're doing it for fame, you will like find some better path, which clearly there are a lot. And if you're listening, you want fame.
Yeah, go do something else. I mean, it's like, it's not that we don't want people who are interested in that kind of thing in the world of tattooing. It's just that they've got to put, the art has to always come first. I know lots of people that are interested in being well-known tattooists, right? Because, being a well-known tattooist is good for business, right? And I mean, there's no two ways about that. But it's got to come secondary to being really good. For me, like one of my great musical heroes was a guy called Eddie Van Halen, right? Eddie Van Halen was a very famous, very rich guitarist. He was the lead guitar player in Van Halen, right? But all of his riches and his fame were the byproducts of being the greatest guitar player on earth for about 10 years. So to me, it's like he's famous as a byproduct. Like that wasn't a destination for him. It was like that was just a byproduct of being a real good guitar player. So if I end up a well-known tattooist, I want it to be because everybody went, Paul does pretty good tattoos, man. And like I don't mind it if it's a byproduct of that. I've had people, like you said, people asking for autographs. I've had people come up to me in tattoo conventions where I've been working and asked to do a selfie and get an autograph. And even though it makes me feel super weird, right? Because it just does. I'm not built that way. But at the same time, it's a bit uncomfortable, right? But that person has had to cross a room to somebody that they admire and go, Paul, I really love your artwork. Can I get a picture? I'm not going to be the guy that tells them no. So, okay, well, I'm just going to have to like...
because of your technique and because of your work, not because you were like posting pictures on Bali, drinking matcha.
There you go. It's got nothing to do with my haircut or what T-shirt I'm wearing. It's because of my artwork. And it's why what I try and do is I try and share as little about me or who I am or what I look like as I can on the internet. I have to do a little bit, but I try not to show very much. I try to show the artwork and I let the artwork be the band. You know what I mean? I let the artwork stand at the front and I just stand in the background. It's almost like, that band of Gorillas where it's like there's a bunch of real guys. Well, like the artwork the artwork for me is my band, the Gorillas. It's like, look at the artwork, and I'm just the guy in the back that makes it, man. It's like I'm no big deal, right? It's not a real thing.
Yes, our art is what should talk for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Our art should talk for us, and not our face and stuff, But
so I got a question for you. So you describe your work as fine line tattooing. What drew you to fine line tattooing? To using small needles to cover great big areas. Like in case you're listening, I've just been watching Iuri putting together a black piece that was done mostly with a 3-liner, and I was surprised because I'd probably reached for a 35 mag. What was it about that particular technique that drew you to it?
Well, when I first started tattooing, I was like, I need to learn as much techniques as I can to have like a great toolbox.
Yes.
And after a while, when I had most of my toolbox like done or prepared, so after a few years, I started to look at my own work and like what did I do makes sense with who I am. So as you said, like you love the chaos. So your work is a
chaotic
product of the chaotic.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like what I am and what I like as art and as doing art.
Yeah.
And with that, I kind of went as a natural thing, like choosing the needles that I prefer to use rather than. So why did I choose like a round liner rather than a magnum? And not even saying about like the gauge of the needle, just the lines. Because I felt more attracted to doing that way. I felt more attracted to the results and the texture and how the tattoo heals after doing that way or that other way. So it was much of inner, like looking at myself and what do I like who I am as an artist and who I want to be as an artist rather than just like doing it itself.
So, just before I ask you another question, my first favourite needle, that is still one of my favourite needles to this day, is a 15 mag. 15 mag, I still think I could do just about every tattoo that I do with a 15 mag. I don't think there's, I line with the 15 mag sometimes and stuff, and people look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, the corner of every mag is a 3-liner. If you hold a mag on its right on its corner. I mean, I don't use curved mags because I think they're Satan. I like straight mags because I'm old and old school, right? So, and just straight flat mags. So the corner of them is always a 3-liner. So I can pull I'm perfectly happy pulling a line with a 15 mag, which is weird, right? But it just, like you were saying, you were just drawn to it, right? I know it's super weird, but like I just feel really comfortable with that. It just feels like, with this particular paintbrush, I could do anything I want to do. It works well,
Well, there you have it. Like that's how you find your way and you're doing things.
That's it. There you go.
What I feel like one of the things that I love the most about tattooing is this. Like everyone does in a different way. There's no right form or correct way of doing it. Like if I'd rather do, like I just said, a full back piece with a 3-round liner, do it. If you to do it with a 45 Magnum.
Yeah, there you go. Have at it. Yeah, it'll work.
Have fun.
I think mine comes from painting, because when I paint, I don't tend to use paintbrushes at all when I paint. I use a lot more, chisels and blades and stuff like that. I'm much more happy with things that feel more like tools than paintbrushes for some weird reason.
For me, things that look like more of a pencil.
There you go. Yeah, so the other thing I was interested in, because obviously fine line tattooing is not a new thing, but it's had a resurgence recently around the world. And as what happens with all new, in air quotes, tattoo styles, the first thing that the chorus of naysayers always love to go, that'll never heal. I'd like to see that in 5 years. So I had two questions for you. Yeah, that'll disappear. One, do you find, what do you do to make sure that doesn't happen? And secondly, do you have to make any considerations given the part of the world that you live in where the sun is always out, and like, because people are, they got their skin out in the sun, do their tattoos do you have to make them a little bit darker for sun damage? Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. So about that, well, I as being someone who traveled a lot, like used to tattoo a lot of different skin, like type skin. So it's fun it's really different. The skin of a German in the north, like a British guy. Than it is from someone, I don't know, in Australia.
Yes. Yeah.
So we need to tattoo in a different way, and we need to understand how is the life of our client.
Yes.
So we can make our work fit the lifestyle of the client. It's not just a piece that we are putting into a square in the wall. It's something that will be carried forever with the lifestyle of the client. So if you're someone who is always on the beach, like getting sunburn and stuff, you need to put more black. You need to make a tattoo more with higher contrast.
Yes.
If you're someone that hides from the sun, like lives in a cave, then you can make something like,
Yeah. That hiding from the sun and living in a cage, that would be Scottish people who, in my experience, my wife is Scottish, and so actually their skin is a sort of pale blue. They just never see the sun.
Like paper white.
Yeah. If she was in the room, she'd be throwing things at me now. But it's really true. It's great skin to tattoo. Yeah, because obviously I started out tattooing loads of people from Northern Europe, so really pale skin, not a lot of sun on the skin ever. So the first time I was in the south of Spain tattooing people, I'm known for putting red and black tattoos together. What I realised was the red that I was using up to that point was not going to work because the skin is already quite olive. So what I had to do was I chose a red with more blue in it.
You chose a different red, right?
So I want to push the red more to the blue tone, so there's a little bit of an opposite against the yellow. And so if you're listening and you know Eternal colours, it's the difference between lipstick red and vet red from the Eternal range. It's like the vet red, so a purpley red. And I found that I had to adjust the shades in the colours that I was doing to allow for the fact that the skin is darker, so the canvas has become darker. So I need to increase the contrast in things to make things hold better. So always with the 3, but do you go darker with the ink?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Like as I said, like I feel that our work is always evolving. So what I do now may not be what I'm gonna do tomorrow, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but we are evolving our work by looking at how it heals and how it stays with the years. So you always need to be checking your own work. And I used to work in a lot of different ways, but always caring about like how this is gonna heal. So I used to pack a lot of black, and then I looked and I was like, yeah, that's maybe too much darker. Let's
Too
pack
dark. Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
So you're always evolving and trying different methods, but you always need to use black.
Yeah.
Like always need to be pure black, and like tattoos only work because of contrast, especially like black and gray.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
they only work because of contrast. If you look at someone who does have a tattoo for, I don't know, more than 50 years, only what's left is the contrast.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what you need to put. It doesn't matter if you're doing it with a 3 or if you're a mag or whatever.
No.
It needs to be contrast.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, that's pretty much the conversation. My daughter does fine line tattooing, and that's pretty much the conversation I had with her. I said, look, it's at the end of the day, it's a tattoo. I know that these are being presented quite pale, but I think it would be better if you make them darker and do them literally like a fine line tattoo, but with black ink, and use whip shading and stippling to achieve your shading in your tattoo.
Yeah.
And she had to do quite a little bit of with her friends, like backwards and forwards, try a piece, let it heal. You know, like are we going to use pure black? Are we going to use like the one, the darkest of the shading inks? Where are we going to do it? And so she's got a little setup now, but it's taken her a minute to dial it in, but she's pretty much got it figured out now, which I'm super proud of her, because I'm not much help in that other than I can give her advice on black and grey, but I don't really do, other than lots of lettering, I don't really do fine line tattooing,
But at the same time, it will evolve. You still get a different machine some time, and
there you go.
Now it needs to change everything because the machine works differently.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
she will go somewhere else, and the skin will be different, and suddenly the way that she does may not be working, and it's totally fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah, we're always moving and evolving, right?
Exactly, we're evolving. Like sometimes she will find out a better way, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I love doing guest spots, because sitting in a room with a different set of artists, particularly if you can be the worst artist in the room, which is always my favourite thing to be, because that means I can
never be the best artist in the room.
No, because you can't learn anything. I always if I'm the worst artist in the room, all I can do is learn, right? So wherever I can, I try and be like, I'll try and be the worst guy in the room, because then everybody can teach me stuff. It's much more fun,
That's one thing that I always try to do as well. With like, I always need to be the worst guy in the room. I always need to work with people that I feel they are better than me. That I feel that the things that I can learn with them.
Absolutely.
Even though there's always something that you can learn from someone else, if you get to a point that you feel that you're not learning what you want to learn, that's good to move.
Yeah,
and
move
that's the
on.
beauty of guests. As I said, like when you travel a lot, you're always working with different people, always working with different skin, always working with different techniques and visions of art.
Absolutely.
You're always changing, and supposedly you're always improving.
Yeah. I mean, so you do quite a bit of travelling. So, new cities, new studios, new faces. Do you think the moving around and travelling is a good way to stay inspired? Or do you feel like when you're running around, it's something, it stops you from being inspired by changing place? Yeah. How do you feel about the travelling? Is it a source of inspiration or a pain in the ass?
I guess you're both.
Yeah. A little of both.
Yeah, because like it's good to stay locked in somewhere, like locked in a place, like being a resident and like in your own city.
Yeah.
And you have like a clientele that you already know and everything, and you can like improve, like make the decisions and improving and learning and like getting comfortable in the like being comfortable in a place makes you be able to make the changes.
Yeah.
When you're traveling, you're not comfortable, and it's amazing because you're always looking for new things and get inspired. But at the same time, you don't have much the time to actually evolve and actually make new things.
Yeah.
So it's good to travel, good to get inspiration.
Yeah.
And then come back and actually apply the inspiration to make something greater.
That's what I think happens.
Like the tattoo that I was doing that you just saw, this big black back piece.
It was beautiful, by the way. Beautiful tattoo. Very much. Yeah.
It was inspired by travels. Like last year, I went to Vietnam
Oh, wow.
with my wife, and we
Wow.
had the chance on visiting the Vietnam Tattoo Convention, which was something that I
Crazy.
never felt to like. What? So, like in my whole life, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Vietnam for a tattoo convention,
Yeah.
and it actually blew my mind. I never saw like as a high quality of tattoos and artists as I saw in that convention. It was completely amazing. So when I came back to Brazil, I was like, I need to do something like that.
Yeah.
I need to improve, and I need to learn more, and to take a few more steps forward. Something.
Yeah.
So, and because I am here and with my clientele and stayed in Brazil and São Paulo, I do have clients when I show like, I decided to do a back piece. How about that? Because usually I do like micro realism. So coming from micro realism and going through a full back piece is like, that's a huge step.
Dude, I did the opposite this weekend.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I started a fullback, Nirvana themed fullback. So I was doing, the Nirvana smiley, like enormous. And then the in utero angel, just marking them out, but huge scale. And then today I was doing a shot from an album cover, realistic on the back of a guy's hand, like literally from like one to another. It was
blackface,
dude.
Small thing,
It was so small, I felt like I needed another pair of glasses on. I was like, fuck, I'm not sure I can see my stencil anymore. Because the guy's holding a guitar, so those details in that guitar, they get super small when you start. Like you got to try and fit, and it was a weird angle for the guitar. It's a good job I play the guitar, because otherwise it wouldn't have made any sense to me. I know what I'm looking at, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. With me with traveling, I feel incredibly inspired on my way home, and like I've got to. And I love that, I did a couple of conventions. I did Venice and I did Berlin. And when I came home from Venice, there were artists there that had been tattooing for like 9 years that were doing the most mind-blowing tattoos that I've ever seen, and were super cool about answering questions about technique. And they weren't big-headed or arrogant or anything like that. They were just really cool guys that were just really into the art form and really happy to talk about the techniques that they were employing. And I walked away from it going, tattooing's going to be fine. Like, I met so many people that were like half my age, that were super cool, nice people, not arrogant, not idiots, not fucking Instagram nut jobs, and people that just want to be influencers. They were just straight up artists that loved it.
But those will be the tattoo artists from the future.
There you go.
Because as you said, like the ones that are in tattooing because of fame or because of money, they will leave because of fame, and they will leave because of money.
Yeah, exactly.
The ones who are actually in love of the art form, and they know how to learn and how to improve, and they understand the community around tattooing. Those will be the artists of the future.
I think also, and we'll touch on this because I know that it's something that you're really keen on. I think the spirituality of tattooing and our connection to that, like if you look at the ancient tattooing, the ancient forms of tattooing and where they come from, and quite how connected to communities that they are, I still think that exists in tattooing. I just think we're in a process where we're finding where that connection is. I think some people have misunderstood that, and they think that we should be mental health workers or something. And like, we certainly shouldn't be. But if my tattoo can help you feel better, I've got no problem with doing that for you. It's just like, don't ask me to be your therapist at the same time, because that's probably not a good idea. What are your thoughts on that? For me, I'll explain my thing. A few years ago, I was hungover because I was still drinking. I was at the London Tattoo Convention, and I got there, and they were having the Polynesian bowl ceremony, and I felt it was like a really deep pull to it, right? It was just beautiful. Have you had experiences like that, or did you just get into tattooing and just felt that there was something more to tattooing than just drawing pictures on people?
I just started tattooing, and I felt that there was something more, I was like, I always love to study, to study and to get knowledge as much as possible.
Yeah.
So when I started tattooing, I was like, I need to get as much knowledge about tattooing as I can. So I went and dived into the ancestrality of tattooing.
Yes. Yeah.
And I saw that after years, I've had the opportunity of working with people that does like tribal work, and they actually understand the culture. And like the spirituality about tattooing, how tattoo is not only about having like a drawing or some piece of art in your skin, but actually having something in your body that, I mean, I have these complete figures in Portuguese in my mind. I need to translate
Yeah.
it. Like, you're not only having art in your skin, you're actually having something that's for your community and for
Yes, yeah, I see what you're saying.
the people around you does mean something. And this
Yes,
for me
yeah.
is the best. This
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge part of it, and we're responsible for making those connections and making people feel like they're in their time and their place where they are. You know, the only thing that I find at the moment, because we're in quite a fractured world, people tend to live in their own heads too much and on the internet too much, which is not a safe place to spend too much time, I don't think.
Definitely.
You know, and they should spend more time in their communities and do some stuff outside. Try walking in the woods a little bit more often, you know, and connect with that again.
Get connected with your own community again.
Yeah.
And if tattooing is about community, then go get something that's meaningful for your community. Go get something that's meaningful for you and not for the community that you see online who is across the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, get something that's close to you. So
exactly.
I've got one other question for you, and it's about art. So your art, you move between realism, geometry, and abstraction, and even in your paintings. So do you think of those things as different languages that you switch between, or are they all part of the same sentence that you're trying to say through your artwork?
Oh, let's say that they are all part of the same paragraph, but made in different sentences.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's a good analogy.
Yeah. You know, they're all about the way that I want to express myself. So if I'm going to the paintings, if I'm going to tattoo, if I'm going on techniques on tattooing or techniques on the work, they are all a part of the same thing, which is what I'm trying to express, which, by the way, I don't even know what it is, but that's fine. I just
none of us know what it is that we're expressing. Yeah. We just know that we're going to one day. I mean, we all feel that way. I'm going to say something really important tomorrow.
Yeah, I just need to express. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you're going to hear about it, but I need to express myself. And that's the way that I found on expressing myself. So the paragraph will be what I want to express, and the phrases or the sentences of the paragraph will be the techniques. Some day will be realism, some other day will be geometric, some other day will be completely abstract on some canvas. And
there you go, great. Yeah, beautiful, man. Beautiful. Right, so I'm going to always end this show with the same two questions for everybody. What is the thing that you think is the best thing about the world of tattooing right now? What do you think we've got right in the current era?
What we got right?
Yeah, what are we doing well that we could be proud of as the modern era of tattooist and go, at least we're doing that well, you know?
Well, I feel we're changing lives for better.
Yep.
We're helping people who really want to express what they have inside, to express on the outside, and to have proud of that.
Yes.
And we are getting like the prejudgments of people with tattoos. We're actually putting this down. Like,
we're breaking down those barriers.
We're actually breaking down this barrier, and we are preparing a lot of different styles. We are pushing the arts in a lot of different ways, which it's amazing. A lot of ways that may not work, but a lot of ways that are amazing.
As long as we're trying, I actually don't care if they don't work. I like it, the weird experiments that people do that don't quite work. I'm like, at least you were trying it. You know, that to me, that means that the art form is still alive. You know what I mean? We're still pushing.
When we say about tattooing, because I've seen some people do some pretty weird things.
Yeah. But I like them. I like that weird stuff, man. You know, I like that stuff I like the ignorant style. I like the people on the fringes of the tattooing.
Ignorant style is amazing. But I feel people going only, not even putting ink on the skin is what I'm trying to say, you know?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But everyone has something to express. Everyone has something that wants to be put into the outside and wants to make a point. Do it, be happy, as long as you don't make any damage to the other, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Do what you want.
So
and the other question.
Yeah, the final one is, what have we got wrong? What's the one thing about tattooing right now that really grips your shit? What's grinding your gears?
Too much marketing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, too much marketing on the person, too much marketing on being famous, and less marketing on art itself.
Yeah, let's just
I feel
make the
that
art.
we definitely got this wrong. If we took tattoo into a direction about like marketing. You talk about that. We talk about that.
Yeah. We've gone way too far. I think we're becoming a corporate thing, but corporations aren't making us do it. It's almost like we've signed up for it, but nobody's making us do it. It's like we need to be a little bit more pirate and maverick again. We need to be a little bit more don't give a fuck, you know?
Maybe tattooing will go like again to the underground, you know?
Yeah.
Getting away from social media, getting away from algorithms.
Yeah. Do you know what? I mean, you know, you studied biology, so you're in the world of science. You know that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So as far as we go into the world of marketing, the next scene in tattooing will be the opposite of that. So, it's going to, like the reason that punk rock existed was because prog rock existed, this very, very complicated, very technical stuff. And then all of a sudden you got guys that just cranking amps up and screaming into microphones. I mean, everything... It's like a seesaw, right? So if we go too far down that route, then there's going to be some kids come along and they're going to make punk rock tattoos and it's going to reset it. And I, for one, will be cheering them on, you know?
I never heard about like this opinion, and it gives me hope. It definitely gives me hope.
I think it's important that different generations of tattooers share our opinions, because I think it's really easy for tattooists that are older.
We are in different generations.
Completely different generations, but it's really easy for us to misunderstand each other. It's really easy for older people to go, oh, young kids, they're lazy and they're elitist and they're just on their phones all the time. But that's not my experience of it. You know, I taught for 2 years at university. I taught journalism, and I was teaching kids that were 19, and I was so impressed with these guys. Now, I was like, these guys are digital humans. Like, they're really different from me, but my God, they're smart. You know, you just got to get the kids engaged. And all I had to do was talk faster, because what I realized was my analog approach to things is just too slow for digital humans. You've grown up with the world going way quicker than it was when I was growing up, right? So the moment I got up to their speed, I was like, these kids can learn anything. No, I mean, like, they're so fast and so sharp. You know, I think in 6 months I taught them how to use like pro design software, and it was no big deal. It takes, analog people like a couple of years to get good at it. These guys needed a couple of months, and I was super impressed with them. And then
sometimes weeks, right? So
yeah, I mean, and so to me, it's like, I think that the more you get generations talking, you'll realise that actually all we are is a bunch of artists together, and how old you are and how long you've been holding a tattoo machine bears very little relevance, you know? We just need to spend more time talking to each other, because the more I'm doing this podcast, the more I'm finding people of all ages, of all races and creeds all over the world who all feel exactly the same way. And so if somebody's listening to this and they feel the same as we do, well, now there's 3 of us, right? And it just...
Right, yeah.
You know, it's just, that's how it works. You know, and I think that's the thing.
This is what I love. I feel a lot of people just like gatekeep, or they don't want to share, you know?
No. I think
the best.
A lot of that is
the best of tattooing, like the community of sharing it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the thing I find weird about that is you see all those complaints online, but then I go to a tattoo convention and I'm sitting there and everybody's sharing techniques and talking, and nobody's gatekeeping anything, because you're in the room. And I think that...
I feel that the ones that complain online is not that they are complaining about the gatekeeping, because as we said, tattooing doesn't have gatekeeping.
No.
But it's because when they send you a message on Instagram, even without even knowing your work, asking for your secret.
Yeah.
And then you say like, oh, there is no secret. I just do this. Oh, yeah. You're like, you must be hiding something from me. Stop gatekeeping.
Well,
it's like, just try to do like a line first before you move.
Yeah.
Try to learn how to walk before you can run.
Do you want to know the secret?
How to run.
Do you want to know?
Don't know how to walk.
Do you want to know the secret to being a great tattooist? I'm going to tell you. Hard fucking work.
Exactly.
That's it. Exactly. There's your secret.
There's no short way.
There's no shortcuts. You just do lots and lots of shit tattoos until you get good. And it's as simple as that. And try to do as many of those not on human beings as possible. That's really all it is. You know, it's like there's no shortcut.
Practice. And once you feel you're tired of practicing, just practice more.
Practice even more. Yeah. You know, like just Keep tattooing until you can't hold the machine and then do it for a bit longer, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, I think we need a little gatekeeping for some of the problems that we've got, but not from the tattooists themselves. I think we need organisations that, you know, make sure that the guys that have got shops open are keeping them clean and keeping them safe, because, our clients deserve that. They, regardless of the artwork, you should not get an infection when you go somewhere. And I think we need
to be some
barriers. There needs to be some barriers, but not like you can't be in this because we don't like the look of you. That's not the kind of thing I talk about. I'm talking.
Organizations who should make sure that people are following the correct rules, especially with biosafety.
I mean, I think with biosafety, that's the only thing that I would say you should study and should be able to demonstrate that you understand it. After that, art is completely subjective. Do whatever you want. If you find clients that want that, then that's fine. But those tattoos, no matter how weird they are or unusual, they've got to be clean and it's got to be safe. And that would be my only stipulation for gatekeeping. Is just keep everyone safe, man.
100%.
And finally, because I know you're busy, you've got to wrap your clients up and everything, mate. But what have you got anything that you'd like to put out there as an idea in tattooing? Because I put my ideas out there all the time. Have you got anything that you particularly, is there anything that you think in tattooing that we ought to be thinking of a little bit more? Do you notice that maybe there's people not thinking about something that's bothering you?
So maybe let's care more about how it will heal and how the client will have to carry that thing for the rest of their life.
Yes.
So let's care more about our client and less about how many likes our picture of the tattoo will take in the internet.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So, amen, brother. Amen. That's the one.
I feel that's what I can say. Like, please care more.
Care more about your clients, yeah. And on that note, I've been joined this time with Iuri from Sao Paulo in Brazil. I'm probably destroying the pronunciations of that, not bad.
Almost perfect. Almost.
But that's kind of the story of my life. Almost perfect. Thanks for joining me, man. It's been really fun talking to you. We'll do it again soon.
Pleasure being here.
Brilliant. Thank you, man.